Thank you very much. It's a great privilege to be back here in Korea, and it's a great privilege to be following the previous two speakers. What I'm going to do, I hope very quickly for you, is talk a little bit, pulling together the themes of the last two speakers about the way in which creative education supports the themes of the last two talks, supports the development of individual creativity, but just as importantly, perhaps more importantly, supports design for society, a theme which is very important to me. Now, of course, it's a great privilege for me to be back here in Korea because increasingly Korea has a very strong commitment to creative education and enormous achievement in technological innovation. But there's a second reason for that. There are some great design universities here in Korea, and my university has very close relationships with them, and I feel amongst very familiar friends, but also because we have a very large group of Korean students working with us in London, studying with us in London, and then returning to Korea to work in the creative sector. So today, amongst friends, I'll talk about how UK design schools are changing the way they think about, teach and practice creativity and innovation. Obviously, universities teach individual creativity, but my proposition here today for you is that increasingly they're becoming studios for society. They are, as Brandon has discussed, generating solutions to the huge challenges faced across the world through climate change, older populations, and the impact of digital technology on personal identity. And I'd like first to talk about this by describing the studio way of working as taught in British art schools, a way of working which we believe encourages innovation in a very special way. It's a way of working that shapes future products and services, shapes consumer behaviors, and even shapes business models. And I'm going to focus on the importance of the user and of the design context, as well as about collaboration, one of the most important elements of creativity. And I'm going to argue that design schools play an increasingly important role in addressing the major global challenges of our time. I think the UK is doing something really distinctive in its design schools, and here's some of the evidence. And the evidence is what's happening in the British economy. Creative production is a very significant part of the UK economy, as the figures up here show. And whilst many countries are strong in one particular creative sector, Korea, for instance, is obviously a world powerhouse of technological innovation. The UK has a really unique, wide range of expertise across the whole field of creative and cultural activity, from product and communication design, to fashion, to crafts, to performance, through film and TV, as well as architecture, fine arts, digital media, software and gaming. The sector now employs more people than the financial sector or advanced manufacturing, and most importantly, it's experiencing higher growth than the rest of the UK economy. 10% growth between 2011 and 2013 compared to 2.4% in the wider UK economy over the same period. And this success is really evident to visitors, to creative clusters across the UK, to people who visit East London, to people who visit Leeds, to people who 런던 동부라든지 리즈, 맨체스터를 방문하는 사람들은 작은 디자인 회사들, 예술인들, 디지털 미디어 기업들 그리고 벤처 기업들을 보고 굉장히 놀랍니다. 그만큼 영국에서는 창조 계층이 동네를 새롭게 바꾸는 것을 볼 수가 있습니다. 특히 영국에서는 경제 전반에 걸쳐 이러한 혁명, 창조 계층이 많은 기여를 하고 있습니다. 그러면 창조 경제에 대해서 말씀을 드리겠습니다. 소개받은 것처럼 저는 원래는 변호사였습니다만 사실 법조인들은 리스크를 별로 좋아하지 않고요. 상상력도 풍부한 사람들이 아닙니다. 뭐 그럴 만도 하겠죠. 그런데 법률회사가 잘하는 것이 하나 있는데 예를 들자면
working across different cultures, codifying good ideas, protecting intellectual property, and providing structures within which creative practitioners thrive.
But most lawyers think in a linear way. 변호사들의 역할입니다.
And once I moved from leading a law firm to heading the holding company of an automotive design and manufacturing group, the McLaren Group, I found myself being fascinated by the role of design and creativity in business, not in individual creativity, but in business. And I became fascinated by the switch from linear thinking to lateral thinking. Now, for the last 6 years, I've headed University of the Arts London. It's one of the biggest art and design institutions in the world. And it's formed of 6 of London's original art and design schools, each of which is more than 100 years old. And one of the most remarkable things about my university is that 49% of its 19,000 students come from outside the UK. Many of them, more than 600 of them, are from Korea. And this community includes an increasingly thriving research community and more than 200 PhD students. And the other remarkable thing about my university is that the majority that our students work across the majority of the creative disciplines. We have, for instance, recently launched a master's course in art and science, bringing artists and scientists together to develop new ideas. We run a master's course in innovation management, helping creative people from a very wide range of backgrounds to work together and learn to innovate. Now, we generally think of creativity as coming up with new ideas, and people often talk about creativity as being experimental, and it's certainly that. But it's not experimental in the sense of testing a hypothesis to see if it's confirmed or not. Instead, as the previous speakers have said, it's about having a hunch and then having a hypothesis, thinking about different ideas, experimenting, failing, and then starting again. The kinds of activities that creative practitioners explore in their studios often look messy and ambiguous, but playing around with materials helps people to look at ways, look at things in new ways. They jump around from idea to idea, they zoom into an issue, and then they zoom out. They look at the big picture and then they look at the small picture, and they're very comfortable with ambiguity. They don't start with fixed objectives, they don't move on a fixed path. Instead, they cycle through an iterative process which involves divergence and convergence. What to a linear eye looks like purposelessness is in fact necessary to allow new ideas to emerge. I've got just 2 images here, really to show us, as Brandon has done, that we can move from pure creativity, the idea, the design of an object, and that's what we conventionally think about when we talk about design. The lemon squeezer on the left, designed by Philippe Starck, is emblematic of that approach. But with the incorporation of digital technologies into objects and digital devices into systems, designers have had to rethink the objective of their work. The late Bill Moggridge, one of the founders of Tom's firm, is also a graduate of my university, and he designed the first laptop computer shown on the right. It looks very old now, but it's not that long ago. And I think it shows the shift away from the focus on objects to a different way of looking about how we use objects. So certainly the beautiful exists, but it coexists with how people interact with their objects and the business models and value networks these are part of. So let me look very briefly at a couple of examples. One of our research units is a research unit called Design Against Crime. It designed a very simple product, a bicycle stand, but it did that not by starting with the product, but by working with sociologists and crime scientists to look at the reasons for bicycle theft, which is a major issue in London. And instead of thinking about the design initially, when looking at why people are resistant to cycling, we thought about why they don't cycle, and it's simply because they didn't have in London a safe place to leave their bikes. So the Design Against Crime unit, having talked to people, worked with psychologists and crime scientists, came up with this new way of locking a bike with a U-shape to allow both of the wheels to be locked. It's not a particularly exciting invention, but it's a jolly clever invention, and as it was rolled out across London, bicycle theft reduced. Now we can probably all think of examples of user-focused design in consumer services, but in other areas in the UK, it's being used in very different ways. And within the British Civil Service, the government's Cabinet Office has been piloting a policy lab which brings citizens together to think of ways in which to approach any sort of social improvement across 8 cities in the north of England. Essentially, these are government policy labs which are crowdsourcing new ideas to develop a sustainable future. And just as this is now being used by government in the UK, of course, management consulting firms are buying design companies in order to bring design into business planning. And at business schools in the UK now, we are teaching design alongside the more conventional financial and other issues. It's about giving managers hands-on opportunities to learn how to use the studio way of working. So, let's think about what design schools really are. And my proposition is that to think about what a design school is, we go back to the idea of the studio. Specialist design schools in the UK now have 3 main roles. The first is that they're places where students become adept at exploring issues and generating prototype ideas. They help students to develop their expertise in harnessing the applied creativity of the studio. Secondly, they've become studios for society. They're places where researchers develop practical knowledge and solutions that can be scaled up in collaboration with industrial partners. And they're spaces where specialists from art and science can come together to look at new approaches to design. And thirdly, they're places for cross-cultural collaboration. The international nature of student population in the UK means that our design schools have a particularly interesting and diverse perspective on the creative process. So let's just look quickly at a couple of examples of this. The first is a product
첫 번째
developed
제품은
by researchers at my university and
저희 대학에 있는
scientists, and it
한
addresses
연구소에서
the very
만들어낸
problem that Brandon was
제품인데요. 앞서서
discussing,
브랜든
which is pollution and the shortage of
씨가
water. Fashion,
얘기했던 오염과
which my
물 부족
university
사태에
has some very
대응하기 위한
famous
디자인입니다.
brands, Central St
저희
Martin's, the London College of Fashion, is
패션
also a
대학도 굉장히
pollutant because
유명한데
the
사실
creation of fashion
안타깝게도
involves
패션은
dyes,
큰
it uses a lot of
오염원입니다.
water.
왜냐하면 옷을 만들어내기 위해서는
And people working
염료를
at
쓰고 물을 많이
University of
쓰기
the Arts
때문이죠.
London
그래서 저희
I've worked with scientists to come up to look at the future and help us to conceptualize how we might use synthetic biology to redesign the materials of our clothes at the same time as creating food to eat. This is a conceptualization of a currently fictitious but biologically foreseeable plant that would both produce genetically modified fruit but also produce the silk to make a little black dress. And people are working actively on this project at the moment.
우리가 직물을 채취해서 옷도 만들 수 있겠다라는 것을 연구 중에
Colleagues
있습니다.
at Cambridge University have been
케임브리지
working
대학에서는
on inclusive design. That
일명
is thinking about
inclusive
how
디자인을
people
하고
who would not
있습니다. 즉 inclusive
necessarily
디자인이라는
always
것은
have design objects designed for them to
자신을 위해서 늘
to
디자인이
develop
되지 않을
products
수
which are
있는
valuable
일부
for them.
계층들을 위한
This product here,
그러한
or this
디자인이 될
concept here,
텐데요.
is a
예를
way
들자면
of
지금 이
imitating
디자인을
old age
말씀드릴 수
in young
있겠습니다.
people, so that
이것은
designers, by
이러한
wearing these
제품을
clothes,
통해서
can have restricted movement,
이러한 제품을
difficulty moving
착용을
their hands
하면
and using their hands.
젊은이들이 손을 쓰지
And then the
못한다거나
researchers at
좀
Cambridge University have been
동작이
using this
느려지면서
technology, very
노인들이
simple,
어떠한
but it's a
경험을
very
할지를
clever idea, to
시뮬레이션을
think
할 수
about
있는
how to
것이죠.
design future
그리고
products.
이것을 착용하게 되면 이들을 위한 노인들을 위한 미래
So,
제품들을 개발하는 데 큰 도움을
My
받을 수가
last
있는 것입니다.
example is
자, 마지막
a
예는
product designed last year by one of our
작년에
students.
저희 학생 하나가 개발을 한
It's an example of the next
제품인데요.
generation of embedded technology.
차세대 인베디드
It's a cycling
기술의
jacket,
사례입니다. 보면
which
자전거를
is a
탈
great
때 입는
example of
사이클링
what students can
자켓인데요.
do. And I'm going to ask
학생들도
my
이만큼
friends over
창의적일 수
here now
있다는 것을 보여드리기
just
위해서
play a
보였습니다.
10-second
한
video
10초
clip which will explain
가량
the
되는
product.
동영상인데 보시면
It's a product which is inspired by the way
제품은
animals distract predators by changing their body.
뭔가
Pufferfish, for
다른
instance,
동물에게
inflate their bodies and grow in size to
자신의
distract
색깔을
predators. With this
바꾼다든지
cycling
모양을
jacket, if a vehicle
바꾸어서
gets
자신을
too close to
공격해오는
the cyclist,
동물의
the
시선을
jacket
흩어지지 않습니까?
responds with
이
intermittent
자켓 역시
flashing. The
뒤에서
flashing gets
어떠한
faster
물체나 뒤에
as the vehicle
운전자가
gets
더
closer.
접근해 해오고 거리가
It's embedded
좁혀지면
technology. Again, it's
좁혀질수록 더
rather a
빨리
simple idea
깜빡깜빡하게 되는
imitating
것입니다.
nature,
사실은
but it's
굉장히
been taken
단순한
up by
디자인인데
potential
자연의
manufacturers in the
원리를
UK.
그대로 적용한 것이고 지금 잠재적인
So in conclusion,
바이어들도 있는 상황입니다. 자, 결론을
My own
짓겠습니다.
trajectory from business to the arts
저도
has convinced me of
비즈니스에
the
몸
value of
담았다가
teaching
이 예술과
and
디자인으로
using design's applied
옮겨왔습니다만
creative
그러면서
processes.
우리가 디자인을
I've
활용해서
outlined for
창의적인
you how
프로세스를
the design
만들어낼 수
studio
있고 그
grapples
힘이
with the
굉장히
big
크다는
challenges of
것을
our
알 수
age.
있었습니다.
I've
저는
set
발표를
out my
통해서
conviction
스튜디오가
that
어떤
these
역할을 할
complex
수 있는지에
issues
대해서 말씀을
can be
드렸고요.
addressed most
복잡한
effectively
세계의 여러
by
가지
working
문제들을
across
효과적으로
disciplines
대처하기
and by
위해서는
working
다
across
학제적으로
cultures,
또
by
다양한
working
문화에
across
걸쳐서 노력을
organizations
해야
and
된다는
natures
말씀을
and
드렸고
nations,
또
such as
여러
between
국가가
the UK
협력하면
and Korea.
좋다라는 말씀을 드렸습니다.
And I've
한국과
described
영국의
design
협력이
schools as
거기에 얘기가
studios
되겠죠.
for society.
그리고 디자인 스쿨을 사회를 위한
Increasingly,
스튜디오라고
they're
제가
becoming
표현을 했습니다.
not buildings, not just places
이제 이런
for
디자인 학교는
self-expression,
그 건물을
but a
넘어선
state of
것이고
mind.
어떻게 보면 자신의
They're
감정을
a
표현하는
collective,
것을 넘어선
collaborative way
사상의
to build knowledge
표현이라고 할 수
and find
있겠습니다.
solutions
그래서
to big
지식을
problems.
구축을 하고 문제에 대한
They
해법을 찾을
certainly
수
don't
있는
have all the
네트워크입니다.
answers,
물론 디자인 스쿨에
but they
모든 해법이
certainly
있지는
can help
않겠죠.
us to
하지만
engage
디자인 스쿨을
creatively and
통해서 저희는
productively
훨씬 더
with the uncertainty of
창의적이고
the future.
생산적으로 미래의 해법을 찾을 수 있을
So my
것입니다.
proposition
미래의
is that design
불확실성에
schools are an
대처할 수
essential
있겠습니다. 그래서 저는
collective resource
디자인
working
학교라는 것이
across nations
굉장히
and across
집합적인
disciplines
자원으로서
for future
우리가 여러
thinking
국가,
and future
여러
making and future
학제를
social design.
넘어서서 우리의 미래를
I'm
디자인할 수
absolutely
있을 것이라고
convinced that they're going to play a
생각합니다.
major
저는
role
디자인 학교가
in the economic
앞으로
and social
경제적,
development
사회적
of the
개발에
global
큰 역할을
economy.
하리라는 것을
I'm convinced
믿어
that they have
의심치
the
않고요.
capacity
또 디자인
to help
학교가
us to redesign our
우리에게는
planet.
지구를
And that for me
재디자인을 할
is
수
the most
있는
exciting
잠재력이
thing
있다고 생각을
about
하고
leading
그것이
my
바로
university.
저희 대학을 이끌면서 가장 흥분되는 점입니다. 감사합니다.